Salem dudes, SaiyanSalamander here, and welcome to another edition of Salem Suggests. This time I'm going to be talking about the latest DC movie to drop, The Suicide Squad. Now, I might be kind of looking like Internet Explorer here, being late to the party, but I literally just saw the movie the other day, so I figured I'd make a review on the film while it's still fresh in my mind. Like always, I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review to start off with, followed by the spoiler review for the film. So let's not stick around any longer for the introductions and go right into my non-spoiler review. Going into the film, I literally knew nothing about it. I think I might have saw one trailer of the film and completely forgot about it until watching the film. Occasionally I was like, oh, I think I recognise this scene. Even after the film, I'm still a little bit confused about things. I'm not really sure if this is a sequel or a reboot from the original film, and there's no mention of the original film, but a few of the actors and actresses do reprise their roles. I also don't know if there's any connection to this film and Birds of Prey, which I still need to watch. No idea if it's any good or not, but I think I'll check it out at least after seeing this film. I haven't really seen too many DC films, as I'm more of a Marvel guy, and honestly none of them have been amazing so far for me. I've seen The Dark Knight Rises, Suicide Squad, Shazam, and of course the new Suicide Squad, but aside from this one, I didn't really enjoy any of the other DC films too much. And yes, I've only seen the third film in the Batman trilogy. I went to watch Ted with a friend in the cinema, but we were too young at the time to get in, and Batman was the only other decent film on in the cinema at the time. The new Suicide Squad though I honestly really enjoyed. I wasn't familiar with any of the characters aside from Harley going into the film, but I really enjoyed everyone who was part of the main Suicide Squad cast. Some characters I liked purely because they were really funny, like Baby Shark and Sebastian. And some I liked for the characters, you know, just being them and actually having a lot of backstory and depth to them, like Bloodshot and Ratcatcher too. And honestly, I'd be down to see any of these characters outside of Suicide Squad and maybe have their own TV show or film in the future. And the thing with Suicide Squad is that none of these characters are safe. It's not like with most other movies or anime where the characters have plot armor and most of the time they're not gonna die. I was actually worried for the large majority of this film that anything could happen to these characters since I wanted to see more of them. Every actor and actress played their characters insanely well. They all had their moments to shine and just be really funny in general, and I was constantly laughing throughout the entire film. From what I've heard of DC, the franchise does its best with its villains. So of course a movie does well when you take a bunch of those villains and make them the protagonists of a film. Ironically though, the actual villains in the film were the worst part of it. Like, I guarantee you, while I don't think I'll be forgetting much about the rest of the film, unlike with the previous Suicide Squad, I'll probably end up forgetting about characters like the Thinker and Starmie over here. Moving on to some other aspects of the film, James Gunn really did a great job of directing this film. There are so many scenes I loved, like with the mission names being formed out of the scenery, or flashbacks appearing while looking out of the bus window, which were amazing to see. The music across the film was pretty decent, but from what I've heard about the film, it wasn't as good as it was hyped up to be. Like, sure, it was a pretty good backing track, but I didn't feel the need to find the entire album on Spotify as soon as I got home, like with Spider-Verse. While I can't remember the first Suicide Squad soundtrack too well, I can definitely say I preferred it to this one. Purely for Panic at the Disco's version of Bohemian Rhapsody and 21 Pilots' Heathens alone. The story overall was pretty simple to follow, and I think they explained everything pretty quickly and really well, which I appreciated, because I'm not the smartest of beans. And I'm never too good with stories that require a lot of exposition, or maybe require a lot of focus and a few watch-throughs to understand, since I don't have the time or the brain capacity for that. Moving on to the spoiler review, and honestly I think this will be quicker than my non-spoiler review section. Usually I find it difficult to talk about something without spoiling anything, but for this film I found it pretty easy. And I don't think there's too much that I needed to say that spoiled any part of the film. There are a couple things to say though, so if you don't want to be spoiled, please click off the video now, and come back another time after you finish watching the film, since we're now going into spoiler territory. All the people who don't want spoilers gone yet? Good. So within the first 10-15 minutes, basically half the cast get killed off in some horribly gruesome ways. And the mission they're on seems to be going terribly. I thought this was a great way to set up the film, since it does a great way showing what it's about. It's called Suicide Squad for a reason. When there's missions that need doing that are too dangerous for most operatives to go on, they send an elite group of criminals that they control, who they don't care if they live or die, and get them to do it instead. It was also a great bait to the audience, since after killing everyone off, they rewind time a bit, and show that it was all just a decoy, so the real Suicide Squad had better odds of completing their mission. It also does a great job of setting up the character of Amanda Waller as a cruel and ruthless person, who doesn't see any of the characters as people and just pawns for her to use, and will do anything such as threatening Bloodshot's kid or letting an entire island's worth of people die if it means completing the mission. I was really surprised though when they killed off so many characters at the start of the film, since the main character I heard about before watching this film was Weasel, and while he was hilarious, he died alongside the majority of the first Suicide Squad sent out on the mission, until the end of the film when we find out he's actually still alive. So who knows if they do a sequel or more spin-offs aside from Peacemaker, then maybe we'll see more of the feral bastard soon. Like I said during the non-spoiler part of my review, I really enjoyed the main cast that they stuck with for the majority of the film, and it honestly makes it hard to pick a favourite part of it to talk about. There's a scene where Bloodshot is competing with some sort of invisible guy on who can get the most fanciest murder so they can get on the kill cam, while trying to rescue another agent who was sent to lead the other squad, and it turns out they were just accidentally killed a bunch of rebels that they could have worked with that was working with the agent they were trying to save. Then there was Harley's little side quest where she had a short but sweet love story with the president of the island, until he starts giving off red flags and she kills him and is quickly captured again. Then after making a phenomenal 69 joke, she manages to escape by snapping a guard's neck with her thighs and goes on a whole killing spree and kills everyone in the building. Only for her to find the main cast outside who are about to break in and save her, when she was just fine on her own, which was so funny since she just thought it was really sweet and then offered to go back in there so they could complete the plan that they just laid out to save her. She also gets a really funny interaction with the Polka-Dot guy, who's the dude that murders people with polka dots, when a guy called Milton dies. And I just laughed my ass off since I was wondering what the fuck he was doing there, and apparently so was Harley and Bloodshot, with Harley barely knowing who he was or why he was there. Like I said, the final villain and even kind of the final fight as a whole were really underwhelming, and I definitely preferred almost all the fight scenes across the rest of the movie. It was great to see someone knock Amanda out before the boss fight started, since she was a pretty big douche, not gonna lie. Overall though, I really enjoyed the film. It defo has its flaws, like with the main villain, and nothing as good as the soundtrack as the original film, but despite those flaws, I really loved it. And it is 100% my favourite DC film so far to date. And if you can get past all the bloody action and gore, since I know some people really don't like that kind of thing, then I would definitely recommend it. I really hope we get a sequel or some more spin-off series in the future, since I definitely want to see more of characters like Harley, Bloodshot, Baby Shark, Ratcatcher 2, and Sebastian as well. I think that's everything I've got to say about the film though, so I really hope you enjoyed my review, my dudes. If you did, please leave a like, comment on what you thought of the film, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can see more editions of Salem Suggests and other series that I do on the channel too. You can also see some more live content from me over on my Twitch channel, where I'm currently playing through games like Neo The World Ends With You, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and Kingdom Hearts. So if you want to check it out, then please check out the link in the description and drop a follow so you don't miss my next stream. Also in the description is a link to my Discord server, so defo join it if you want to talk more with me or hang out with the rest of the Salamander squad. Again, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one, my dudes. Until next time, bye!